Many a visitor to the Cahokia Mounds in Collinsville, Illinois, has made the trek up to the top of the largest mound, Monk's Mound, and gazed out at the expanse that was once the largest Native American settlement on this continent. The mounds are especially inspiring to composer James Lee III. His latest orchestral work, Visions of Cahokia, weaves a musical tapestry intended to transport the listener back in time to about the 11th century. That's when thousands of indigenous people built a network of earthen mounds that anchored an advanced civilization long before the arrival of European settlers.
I had been doing some research about American Indian history at some point, and I realized that I hadn't heard as much about ancient ruins from North American cities as I knew in Central and South America. And as I began to read on this topic, I discovered the Cahokia Mounds. And I was so taken by what I read, especially having found that that was a civilization, that was a city that was even larger than some European cities at the time. And I knew immediately that I wanted to write an orchestra piece on this topic.
We stopped in at Powell Symphony Hall during a rehearsal of Visions of Cahokia prior to its world premiere in January of 2023. It was commissioned by St. Louis Symphony Orchestra music director Stefan Denev, who has a professional history with Lee.
Because I love James Lee III, and I conducted actually many pieces of him here, and I really said, please, let's do a new piece together. And what an honor that he wrote this piece for our orchestra, obviously with a very special connection to where we are in this place. And he was fascinated by the Cahokia, amazing place, and he wrote something that is really, really good.
I kind of like that, though. I do.
Well, what I love with James Lee III is that he has a unique voice, a distinctive voice. So what is interesting is whatever he composes, whatever theme, you can feel his own qualities, which is a very lush orchestration, a sense of layering the orchestra in a very creative way.
Visions of Cahokia is a 3-movement, 13-minute symphony.
The first movement is called Cahokia's Dawn. And it is in that movement where the idea of this civilization that will eventually grow into like maybe a term we might use as megacity. And then we have the second movement, which is one of devotion, where the various woodwinds, once again, they are singing in their devotion to their god Jehovah. That was the name for God in the Choctaw language. And then the last movement, Chukoshkomo, is actually a word from the Chickasaw tribe, and that is a word for like frolicking, games, and playing, and that's really a lot of fun and celebration in that last movement.
Prior to the premiere of Lee's work, the Baltimore-based composer toured the Cahokia Mounds Interpretive Center. Its displays include artifacts like pottery and tools for farming, hunting, construction, playing games, and making music.
Yeah, rattles, drums, flutes, whistles.
At its peak, the Mounds had some 50,000 inhabitants. By the 1400s, the population was 0. But its once great culture is now celebrated in music, and that brings joy to Stefan Denev.
For me, it's all about emotion, you know. And we said before that I program a lot of music of our time, but I choose very carefully the works that touch my heart and the works that can have a direct emotional aspect to the audience. And it's really wonderful, you know. It's a bit like cooking to friends or to people you love, family. You just want to have something that you first adore to eat and to share. And so I only conduct pieces that I'm totally convinced by, pieces that really make me enthusiastic, and then I can share my enthusiasm.
For Living St. Louis, I'm Ruth Ezel.